away. I thought my memories would end. One street over's now 1,000 miles away. When I close my eyes, I'm back to where I've been. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. I took a walk one street over from my home, cracked and broken asphalt everywhere. I could have ended up just like that broken road, with a dead end in my path. Thank the Lord that I've got more than that. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second.
Hello, good morning. Let's get into it. This is 1100 WSGI. I'm Neutral LaVern, and this is One Street Over. We get to talk about what's going on one street over from where we live right here in Robertson County. I love Robertson County. Dr. Stephanie Evans
Good morning.
in the house. Don't you just love Robertson County?
I do, and I am homegrown, so I definitely have a lot of love for the community.
Yeah, you're homegrown. And David is as well.
He is. We are both homegrown.
Yeah. How long have y'all known each other?
Oh, I met him when I was 16. And well, actually, we started dating when I was 16. So
So cute. Dr. Stephanie Evans and her husband, Dr. David Evans. I just got such a kick out of you getting your doctorate. I was just like, you got two doctors in the house. I love it. That's so cool. That's so cool. I wish I'd had the discipline academically to do that. And I would love to have my doctorate in ministry studies or something to that degree, so people would maybe listen to me a little bit more when I talk about Bible stuff. But, because when you get those things in front of your names, they're kind of like, well, they must know what they're talking about. But,
I don't know if mine was discipline and not more competitiveness. So when my husband got it, I was like, well, I can do this too. So,
for you.
Yeah, so it was more
it.
just because I wanted to keep up with the hubby. So,
I think that's excellent. But I do admire you, and I admire what you do. You and my son Caleb would sit and talk for days because he's a clinical counselor and he's very good at it. He's just very good at it. And you are very, very good at what you do. Every conversation I've ever had. And and here's the thing, when you're talking to somebody that does what you guys do, it doesn't take long for you to see that you have a heart for it and that you're doing what you've been called to do.
Yeah.
And when you see that, and it's so crucial because so many people I've got so many people in my life that I'm like, have you ever thought about just talking to a counselor? Oh, I couldn't do that. And it's like, man, it would change your life.
Yeah.
It would change your life if you would just open up. We go through all this with Celebrate Recovery. It's such an amazing thing because the steps we go through, it's a Jesus-based recovery program, but it's not just for alcohol and chemical dependency. It's for hurts, habits, and hangups, from everything from food issues to anger issues to, I have a lot of church issues, and I'm very open and honest about them because I grew up very legalistic and very structured church. And I've just had a lot of questions that you know what I mean? So church hurt.
Yeah.
And, bitterness, resentment, those kinds of things that you try to come up with is so interesting. My sweet boy, he's getting ready to start group classes in October. And one of them is to deal with people that are coming out of organized religion and trying to find their way. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot. But it's something that a lot of people are dealing with.
Well, and I will say celebrate
know?
recovery. I would love that you mentioned it's not just for people that are dealing with
Yeah.
like a substance use.
Yes.
And so I love that you mentioned that, it's for people that are dealing with, gambling or maybe
Yes.
spending money or any
Yes.
other, I love that you said hurts, habits, and hangups,
Yes.
that they just kind of need a little extra direction, accountability, and just, connection with other people who they can do life with and just do it well.
And it's all these things. And I'm building up to what we're talking about because September is Suicide Prevention Month, right?
Suicide Prevention Awareness Month.
Awareness Month. I know that the words, my son's like, the words matter, suicide ideation, all this kind of stuff that, that you've talked to me about, that he talks to me about. And I'm so glad you have her as a friend, that she's keeping you in line. But,
Aww.
whenever we talk,
Yeah.
he's very intentional about the way you say things. And I know you are as well, because you came in and did this beautiful interview at my school, and we're going to be sharing that next month.
Okay.
And even though that young man has graduated, it's just so well done, and we were so proud of that. And so we'll be putting that back out. Maybe we need to redo it, but that was done so well. I just, have you watched it lately?
I have not. So
I'll send you the link again, so you
Okay.
can kind of look at it and go, okay, maybe, because you know how I'll put stuff out. And 2 years later, I'm like, I think I would rather say it this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll get you that. But as I'm kind of building up to this, so much of what we deal with Suicide Awareness Month or suicide, we deal with that in Celebrate Recovery.
Mhm.
But it's the things underneath. It could be that there's some things where you got into a gambling addiction, as you mentioned, or maybe the things that are happening within your family. You're just, you come from childhood trauma and things that you've not dealt with that lead you to that place of not understanding how suicide ideation has been a part of that. And you know what I mean? There's always an underlying cause, seems like, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to help people to understand is be aware. Just be aware of what's going on around you and be willing to talk and just open up, right?
Well, and I love if that's something that's talked about in the Celebrate Recovery programs here.
yeah.
I love that that's talked about because a lot of
Hugely.
times substance misuse and mental health challenges, they often can go hand in hand. And then we do know that when we are experiencing mental health challenges and maybe when we combine that with substance misuse, that there's a chance that suicide could be something that is on the table that we're thinking about. So I love that you are talking about it because that's the first step towards prevention is starting to talk about it.
And honestly, we have testimonies every other week. You would be astounded at how many testimonies have a piece of that was on the table for them before they got fully into recovery.
Yeah.
Because they felt they were they just couldn't do anything else. I'm never going to get above this. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
And that is something you would be astounded at how many times it's mentioned. And all of us have been touched by it. There's not a soul on this planet that does not have someone that they've had to walk through the heartbreak or that they've had, of someone that they've known or loved, or they're talking to somebody and they're stunned. Maybe they're like, I can't believe you would ever think that's an option.
Or maybe it's even something that they're thinking about themselves.
Exactly.
And they're experiencing shame, guilt, because I don't know why I'm having these thoughts, but the shame and the stigma of it keeps them from reaching out for help to have someone help them through those thoughts and to the other side of those thoughts.
So where do you want? I say, where do you want to start at 7:10? This is
Yeah,
why
no, I would love to
she's
start
like,
so.
we can't do 30 minutes. I'm like, oh, Dr. Evans, I bet we can do more than you think. But Lee Marie's going to pop in here at some point when we run out of things to talk about. But I think it's going to be a while. I do want to start now. Y'all do have this the suicide prevention awareness 5K coming up.
Yes,
and it's coming up very quickly.
Yes, so thank you for having me on to talk about it. So I am actually part of something called the Robertson County Health Council. Are you familiar with the Health Council?
Yes.
So
Thompson's a friend. And
yes,
I know
and she's on the council. Yes. And so the Health Council, for those of you who don't know, is really just an organization of where it's voluntary volunteers. And so it's volunteers within the community, and they come from all different organizations. So we have people that show up from our local health department. We have people from Stokes Brown Public Library. We have people like myself in mental health, such as Mighty Oak and Youth Villages. So we have people from all different organizations within our community, but we come together for a common goal, which is to improve the health outcomes of Robertson County. And so we focus on different areas. So there's a committee that focuses on obesity, because that's a health outcome that we're targeting. There's a committee that focuses on substance misuse, and that's a health outcome that we're targeting. And another health outcome that we're targeting is mental health and suicide prevention. And our health council for the past 2 years, maybe even a little bit more, we've been really intentional about raising awareness on signs and symptoms, letting people know that where they can go to for help, and just really trying to promote 988 in our community. Last year we were very blessed that we were able to partner with the chamber and get signs up on about 988, which is the number you can call. You can text, chat, or call 988 if you're ever experiencing a mental health challenge or you're trying to help a loved one who's going through a mental health challenge. So we really are doing our best to promote 988. And then we were thinking, we were blessed with a grant that allowed us to kind of bring in some income to support that cause. And so one of the things we did is last year, not this past year, but the previous year at Chosen's Back to School Bash, we were able to give out 988 water bottles to the 800 plus students that came through there. And this year, the funds that we have, we really wanted to create something that would be intentional, getting a lot of different people involved, but also maybe highlighting some of our other issues such as obesity, because, when you get out and walk, when you get out and run, it really is improving your physical health, which can be connected to mental health. So one of the things that we just thought of doing was doing a local 5K. And so it's whether you walk it or run it, just keep on going, because we want to give the message to people that it's important to keep on going. And also with doing it as a 5K, we're reminding people that you don't have to do it alone, that there are people who can walk this journey with you, that can run this journey with you, that can cheer you on as you are journeying. So we are hosting a suicide prevention awareness 5K on September 12th. It's going to start at 8 o'clock in the morning, which I hear is a great time for runners, and not so good for those of us who are night owls. But it will be at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to be at the Robertson County Fairgrounds. We're really excited. The cost is super inexpensive as well. So the cost is $12.79. And that number was intentional because the year that we had the data when we created the race, 1,279 Tennesseans had died by suicide. Wow. And so since we had this blessing of funding, we were able to set the cost at a very low amount so that hopefully anybody could come, and it wouldn't be too costly.
I love it. And again, this is on September 12th, and it's something any of us can do. Absolutely any of us can do it. And it's just an opportunity just to say, if this is something that you have been thinking of, if it's something in your mind, don't be ashamed of it. Get some help. And I love that we have the 988 number now. I mean, has it been about 3 years?
Oh, it's been going over 4 years, really? I believe. So, and I'm so thankful because I have a horrible memory. And so when the previous number, I can't even recall it now, but it was like 1-800, all these digits. There was no way for me to remember that. And I am a mental health provider. And so when 988 came along, I was so thankful. I'm like, all right, I got this. Who do you call for a medical emergency? 911. When it's a mental health emergency, 988. So I'm very thankful. It's so much easier for people to remember. It's easier to also advertise because it's more eye-catching, and it's just a great resource. And people think that when I call that number, is someone automatically going to show up at my door? But really, it's just a caring counselor on the other line that is there to listen, is there to support, is there to help you identify resources. And most often, that's all people need. Is just someone to listen.
And that's something that I think people don't realize about 988. It's a mental health line, right? And so it's not saying that this is something that I'm about to do. That's a 911. You know what I mean? When you think there is a life threat 911.
Yes, if there is imminent threat or
yes.
danger, I would always call 911 first. But 988 is there it's there to prevent crisis. It's
Yes.
there if you're in the crisis and you are not at that point of an imminent threat or danger, then definitely 988. And there's someone on that line that will support you and help you through that moment.
Oh, I keep it posted right by my room, and it's posted by the counselors. And we've had the little magnets that we've had, and we have them in Spanish and in English. And I love the banner that you have for the 5K. You have one in Spanish as well that
Yes.
we put up. And because I think people, you and I were talking about how kind of my journey into teaching, I had worked so much with people who are newcomers here, and can you imagine? Can you imagine? I had a sweet girl yesterday that had to take a test, and she got and it's our safety test, and they have to get 100 on it. And after she brought it up, and she missed several, English is her second language. I'm like, are you kidding me? I said, I'm so proud of you. I said, you're doing just fine.
Yeah.
And we talked about it, and then she did it again, and she nailed it. And I told her, I said, don't, because she seemed embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? I can't take a test in Spanish, And so the anxiety that they have, especially these young people that are trying to figure it out, and there's so many worries and concerns. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one
They
of the
need
things.
a 988 number.
Well, I love, so 988, you can call and you can reach someone who can speak to you in Spanish. If you are a member of the deaf or hard of hearing community, they have individuals that can speak to you in sign language, American Sign Language as well. And then they also have a specific option you can click if you are a veteran and need to speak with someone that's from that population as well.
Wow.
And so it's a really great resource. They're trying to really
is.
spread awareness and hope to every population. And so, especially if you're someone where English is not your first language, it can be very hard to identify resources and connect with those resources. And so even if you are someone who, I need mental health counseling, I'm not in a crisis, but I need to talk to someone. If you are not able to find those resources through your local outlets, then maybe call that number, and they likely have some supports and information that can assist you as well.
Very well. And again, 988, that's the number that you keep handy and use if you have anybody in your life that that you think might be in crisis. This again is the 5K awareness for suicide prevention awareness. September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And I just wanted to definitely get Stephanie in here to start talking about this.
And
but go ahead.
even if you don't run or walk, but you still want to come and want to get some of those resources that we have, because we're going to have a lot of organizations that are going to have tables out that talk about the resources they offer. And we've been really intentional about trying to reach out to organizations in our community. And so we have at least 20 vendors that have signed up and said, yes, I will be there. I will have information about the resources that we offer. So if you're someone that's just looking for ways to get connected to supports in our area, come. If you are an organization and you're not signed up to be a table vendor at the organization, please reach out to me. My information, I can put it in the chats after I leave. But yeah, reach out to me, because we would love to have you at the 5K so that other people can know about the work that you do and how you might be able to help them through.
I love the design of the logo. It's got the semicolon.
Yes,
Did
yes.
you do that?
Yes, I am not very tech savvy or creative, and so I was just so excited. Canva
That's
makes the world a better
so
place for those of us who
cool.
are not as creative.
That
so.
is so stinking cool. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at that and I'm going, man, that looks really neat. Very well done, sister.
Well, I really thought that it was a great combination of like the
Yes.
running community plus the suicide prevention awareness community. How we
Yes.
really want to encourage people that your story's not over.
Amen.
Just keep going.
I love it. I love it so much. And I want to talk to you, it's like I definitely want to promote the 5K, but something that you went over whenever you came in and talked to my students. We had Dr. Evans come in a couple of years ago. Jackson was our newsman.
He did a great job too.
Great. He's
Yes.
phenomenal. And he graduated a couple of years ago. But anyway, we're going to, reshare that. But you talked a lot. I mean, one of the questions he asked you, and I think it's something we all need to be aware of, is what are the signs of somebody that you need to be aware of that they might be in crisis? What are the things we need to be looking at? I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
we've had tragedies in our school.
Yeah.
And what are the things we need to be watching for? And there's in things that I can think back on, in situations that I wasn't maybe close to, I just wonder, were there some signs? Were there some signs that we missed? So can you talk to us about those signs that we need to be watching for?
Absolutely. I love that you're asking about that because that's another part. So my organization, Mighty Oak, that's another thing that we really are intentional about promoting. It's just promoting education and training that can help people recognize and learn the signs and symptoms to look for because we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
And so something might be, I might see something and it not really connect with me that might be a sign or symptom that's connected to suicide until someone educates me and helps me understand. And so I'm really a big proponent on getting training on mental health, getting training on how to recognize signs and symptoms of mental health challenges as well as suicide, so that we can then help those individuals and get them connected to the appropriate professionals. So some signs and symptoms that I would encourage people to really take note of if someone is talking about it. So if they are talking about suicide, if they're writing about suicide, if they are drawing about suicide, that we need to take a moment to check in with that person and ask them, are you thinking about suicide or are you thinking about killing yourself? And it's really important that we ask the question. And that's some of the trainings that I am able to offer through Mighty Oak is we help people learn how to recognize the signs and symptoms and then to ask the question once you've identified that those signs and symptoms are there. So in addition to talking about it, writing about it, or drawing about it, I would say if individuals are telling you that they're hopeless or that they feel helpless. Hopelessness is one of the biggest risk factors for individuals that they might be considering suicide. So anytime someone is expressing hopelessness, that they're feeling trapped or that they're feeling a burden, if you see someone that is maybe making preparations for if they are not going to be here, that is something that can also be a sign or symptom. Another sign or symptom could be that they are also giving away their prized possessions or making other types of arrangements as well. And something that, just looking for common signs and symptoms of just mental health challenges in general. So if you see that individuals are starting to withdraw, and we talk a lot about it in one of my trainings, and not just withdrawing. So it's very typical for young people as they're navigating adolescence to maybe withdraw from their parents, but then they're getting connected to their friend groups. They're getting connected to sports teams or other hobbies. It's really when people start withdrawing from everything that you really want to make note of that, or if they start isolating themselves. It could be that you might start seeing changes in their patterns, such as their sleep or changes in their diet or how they're eating. So just looking for changes in behavior is something that could be helpful in recognizing that suicide might be something that they're considering.
There's so many kids that, from the moment I first meet them, they seem withdrawn. And a lot of it has to do with their world of gaming. And you look at them and you wonder, are they, they're too isolated. They don't need to be just in their gaming world. But then they come to school and then they don't engage either. Do you have any tips for any of us on how we can draw these kids out? Because they're in every class. They're in every class that you have that kid that you just can't get to engage. And they don't have their phones. They don't have that, but then they're sitting in class. They're just kind of trying to put their shirt up over you know what I mean? They're just constantly just trying to kind of hide. And I just about every classroom I go in has somebody like that. And a lot of it, when you start talking to them, they're at home gaming all the time. Maybe they've got a good, loving family that's just very busy, but they retreat into that world. And then when they come to school, they get done what they've got to get done. They just kind of hang back. They just kind of stay in the shadows. And maybe, they're not seeing that it could lead to this hopelessness, but outside of their gaming world, they are. I mean, how do you deal with that?
Well, the wonderful thing is that, individuals develop their own communities. And sometimes the gaming community can be a community, and especially like all things technology, media, everything can be used for good, but it also can have some things that could cause harm. And so it's just being mindful of in what ways is this contributing to my health? In what way is this contributing to me having positive outlooks? And then if there are ways that it's contributing to me having unhealthy behaviors or a negative outlook, then identifying and putting up safeguards so that I can protect that. But one of the things that I think about is honestly just even our Christian walk is meeting people where they are. And so finding a way to just meet that person where they are. So if they are someone that enjoys the gaming community, maybe identifying activities or identifying conversation that can maybe connect with them and then draw them in a little bit. And then once you develop that relationship, then it just can open the doors wide open for even more.
Wow, that's a big challenge for me because I don't understand it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't. That's probably they all know how much Miss Vivio does not like gaming because I just see it sucking too many of them in. So help me out, sister.
Well, I will say
Give me some ideas. 'Cause
sometimes
I
that's
don't
the
know.
best place
Yeah.
to be because you can approach it from a place of curiosity. Like, I don't understand. Like, help me, teach me in what ways. Like asking the young person to really help us understand. Okay, what makes this so exciting for you? What makes this? Is there any way that we can bring aspects to that into our day at school? Like in mental health, there's actually ways to include. There's even someone who wrote a book about it, about using video games as a tool in therapy and using even registered play therapists. They do it all the time. They use games like board games and other kinds of games. So really using those more as a tool for fueling growth and a tool for health and helping a person achieve their goals. So turning it into something positive and just using it in a healthy way.
That's so interesting you mentioned that because that's one of the things that my son does. Now, I've never heard him talk about gaming, but he does play therapy with young people and I mean Legos and different things. And he has a play therapy thing he does.
Yeah.
And in the practice that he has. And so I find that interesting and he has had great success with it. And so that's very interesting. I never even thought about trying to, that's the thing. It challenges me because I've got one particular student right now that's just on my mind that I don't know how to reach them. And I don't know. I
And
don't know what to
sometimes
say to
we're
them.
not the
Yeah.
one. So that's part of the things
Yeah.
in our mental health training. We tell people like we're going to equip you with the knowledge and the training to help, but also recognizing like you might not be that person that they need, and that's okay. What we can then do is identify well who might be able to connect with them better. Like if for some reason like there's a disconnect between me, like maybe it's my age, maybe it's I'm a female. Like what is it that's causing the disconnect? Identifying someone else who might be able to connect better,
Yeah.
just for whatever reason that might be, and then equipping that person to be that source of connection for them. But really with young people, it's really helping them develop connection with anybody. Honestly, we were created to connect,
yeah.
when it comes to our Christian faith, we were created to have a connection with God and Jesus. And so connection is so important to who we are and for us to fulfilling like our, who we are meant to be and created to be. And so I think when it comes to mental health, a lot of individuals who are experiencing mental health challenges, they have difficulty feeling connected. They could be in a crowded room, but still feel very isolated. And so for us who maybe are aware that individual is experiencing some mental health challenges, and it's our job to kind of bridge that gap for them, do what they can't do, and try to find ways to connect them. Because they do say that individuals, especially with young people, having one caring adult can make the biggest difference. So a caring adult in their life can make a world of difference for a young person.
That's one of the main reasons why I'm so honored to be in the school system is because I see it as being a mission because so many of these kids, and there's a lot of just kids that have just got great families and all the perfect things are going, and we've got just beautiful, wonderful families, but there's not a community alive that does not have kids that are falling through the cracks. And oftentimes their teacher, their bus driver, that's why I tell everybody, if you're just people are, because I've ever touched the political world, people get so, frustrated with the way the world's going, and they'll ask me, what can we do? And I'm like, get involved. And inside the school systems, guys, from substitute teachers to tutors to bus drivers to bus attendants, the relationships that you can in the lunchrooms, the relationships that you can build with these kiddos, just being a smile and being a positive influence. You may be the only one they see all day. You may be the only, I mean, and they may have a bunch of teachers that are not connecting with them, that are great teachers, but they're so busy trying to teach them math, they can't make that connection. And
Yeah.
maybe you're a bus attendant and you're just like, hey, how are you doing? Just the simple things you can do inside these, within the school system. I can't say enough. If you really want to make a difference, come join us. Come join us in the school system and just be a light and a smile for these kids.
Yeah.
Um,
You mentioned
Okay.
something too, like you had mentioned that, what is causing them not to plug in or not to
Right.
connect. There, you mentioned like in the school system, there could be lots of other barriers that they're facing that has caused that individual to be withdrawn. And so when you connect with them, you start to learn, what are these barriers? Is
Right.
it that maybe English isn't my first language and something is hard for me? Or is it that I'm so hungry because there's no food in my house and I can't focus right now because I'm so focused on the growling in my tummy.
Yeah.
So just really helping them identify, what is keeping the barrier, and helping kind of chip away at it.
That's just it. And there's so many things, and we all know those kids are hungry all the time. So I mean that can be a big factor, but there's just so many different things it could be. And as I've gotten to know kids, I'm in my 5th year now teaching. And so many kids run through my mind about the different things that they've shared with me over the years. And there's one that's on my mind right now that graduated a couple of years ago that I want to follow up with because they concerned me. And you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's just trying to let them know, hey, you're still on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
You're still on my mind, and I want you to know that. And you're still in my prayers. And let me do a break here.
Okay.
Talking with Dr. Stephanie Evans, we want to come back and remind you again of the Suicide Prevention Awareness 5K coming up in 2 weeks. Also, that September is the month to really kind of drive this home and make sure that, be intentional about it. And make sure that people are aware of what 988 is and educate a few people. Maybe just decide I'm gonna educate 10 people and make sure that they know what this is about, because it might be just one of them that is the difference that saves a life.
Mm-hmm.
And it is just as simple as that. You just never know the influence that you have with every seed you plant. But let's talk for a moment about my friends over at Valor Mortgage, Chris Armtrout, and the experienced loan officers at Valor. They are working hard to make sure you get everything you need to get the right mortgage, the right refinance, the right option to invest for your future, whatever it may be. They are here to help you, and they have access to VA loans, FHA loan options, conventional jumbo financing, all the tools you need to get to the closing table for whatever your priorities are. Maybe it's your first home. Maybe you are, wanting to refi. I love when Brian Pulley tells the story about Chris taking care of this for him. He had bought a home. The interest rates were a little bit higher, had an option to get a lower interest rate. He said, the money that he saved me, it was effortless. I had to do so little to get this done. It was such an easy transition for them to get their mortgage updated. And Chris took care of it for them. Buying a home and all these things are some of the biggest decisions you're ever going to make. You don't want a lender. You don't want somebody that's going to treat you like a number. You want a neighbor to work with. You're not a number. You are a neighbor with Valor Mortgage. First thing to do is to give them a call and get an appointment, or go online and get an appointment, or get pre-approved. You can call 615-671-9178, 615-671-9178, or go to valor.mortgage, valor.mortgage to get pre-approved today, because yes, when it matters most, you deserve a lender you can trust that will treat you as a neighbor, not a number. Buy with confidence. Buy with Valor. Valor Mortgage and MLS number 1210804. DBA of Encore Lending Group and MLS 1249911. Equal housing lender, subject to credit approval. Rates and terms subject to change without notice, and not a commitment to lend. Let them know U-Turn sent you. Dr. Stephanie Evans, let's just kind of recap here and talk about all the things. You tell them what you're going to tell them, then you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. That's the speaker's mantra. That's what I've always been told. I don't know that I adhere to it. I chase way too many rabbits for that. But Let's tell them what we told them
Yes.
about
So
the
we want to invite our community to a suicide prevention awareness 5K that the Robertson County Health Council is hosting. It is September 12th. So that's Saturday, September 12th. It's going to be at the Robertson County Fairgrounds, and the race will start at 8 a.m. If you are someone that would like to participate, there is a flyer that is shared on U-Turn's site that you can click or scan the QR code and get registered. The cost to be a race participant, and you can walk it, you can run it. So whether you walk it or run it, we hope you keep going. But you can sign up. It is $12.79. And we were sharing earlier that cost is intentional. So we wanted to highlight the 1,279 individuals in Tennessee that died by suicide. And so we set the cost at that number for that reason. But we hope you come out to really help raise awareness, show people that they're not alone in this journey together. And then we're going to have a lot of resources out there. So we're going to have a lot of community organizations that are going to come out to highlight the work that they do, the supports that they can offer, and just to remind you that if you need help, there are people in our community that can help you.
Now you have swag on there.
We do.
Talk to me about your swag. How do you get your swag?
Yeah. Well, from the very few races that I've ever participated in, the race swag is sometimes a good thing that can draw people in. And so we, as a health council, we identify we're going to do shirts. And now I will say that we wanted to be good stewards with our funds, so we did not order an excessive amount of shirts. And so we did have a cutoff of a date to where you could be guaranteed a shirt. We still have plenty of shirts available, so please keep signing up right now. But in terms of making sure that we have a size for you, it's more you want to go ahead and start signing up now. So we're going to have t-shirts, and we're very thankful for the sponsors who helped donate so that those t-shirts were covered. So we had 4 organizations that donated to the Robertson County Health Council to cover the t-shirts. So we had the Jason Foundation, which does a lot of education and training on suicide prevention. We had Mighty Oak Christian Mental Health Services, which is my organization. And then we had Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network. They also donated, and then Safe Baby Court. So Safe Baby Court donated for the t-shirts as well. In addition to the t-shirts, we had sponsors that came along, and they wanted to sponsor a mile. So they were like, we want to encourage people along the race route. So we had several sponsors that donated to that. So Mighty Oak, the Jason Foundation, but then we also had Mind Renewal, which is a medication provider that also delivers services through a Christian lens. We had Krislin's Kiddos. I believe she is one of your individuals that follows. So she, so Krislin's Kiddos and Furry Friends was a sponsor. We also had Diana Health, which is a local medical provider here in the community that really helps women. And so Diana Health is also a sponsor of that. And I hope I didn't miss anyone.
I love that Krislin's involved. I didn't know that.
Yes.
We'll have to. Well, she's fun. She's just fun.
But you can see those sponsors at the race site. So if you want to know more about the sponsors, and we're the health council, our health council chair, which is Miss Lauren Patterson. So she is highlighting those sponsors on our health council Facebook page, which people can share out as well. But it really is something that our health council is really passionate about, is just helping individuals know that they're not alone, that there is help available, and there are resources in our community. And even our health council, in addition to the 5K that we do, the health council is really big about collaborating and compiling resources for our community. So we do a resource book every year that we make sure we go through and we update, and it contains all the resources for which we're aware of that can help people in Robertson County. And that's also posted on our Health Council webpage as well. So if you are in need of any type of resource, whether it be to meet a basic need such as shelter or food or water or utilities and things like that, feel free to go to our Health Council page and look up that resource directory.
Very good. Very good. Just all kinds of wonderful things. And I don't know, do you want to come back in during September as we're focusing on Suicide Awareness Month?
If you have a spot, I would be more than welcome to. So I will say, so September is a busy month for me, just because I do so much. So I have lots of trainings, and so I would love to come back in. So we'll just have to coordinate our schedules to see if we can make that
happen. I'm going to send you the video that we did with Jackson, because I want you to kind of take a look at it and make sure that it's what you want out there before I share it with the kiddos. And because this has touched our school, and just it's horrifying. And so we want to be super mindful and careful about how we address it. But
Yeah.
it's just one of those things we have to address. We just have to be aware of.
And one of the things that people don't consider is that postvention, like after we lose a loved one to suicide, postvention is very important. Making sure you come around loved ones, come around their communities, and really help them go through the grieving process, go through what they're experiencing, and just make sure that they know that they're not alone too, because family members do experience a lot after they lose a loved one.
I can't even imagine. Anything else that we're missing? I do need to mention that somebody named David Evans is on here going, "Good morning. Love your guest this morning. Might be my favorite guest of all time."
He's the early bird, not me. Yeah.
Dr. David Evans. But anyway, y'all have such a beautiful family.
Thank you.
So sweet. And just love y'all so much and all that you do for our community, because you just make it so much better.
Well, you mentioned when you were talking about teachers, you were talking about they have to have a heart in the mental health community, and in the ministry community, you have to have the heart. You have to have a heart for the people that you're serving and heart for the one you're serving.
Amen.
And so it's really about having that calling and that mission on your heart. So
yes, and y'all definitely do. Just like he was telling me what your sweet girl's going to do with her career and architecture and wanting to, build, places for people to have water and all that. It's just amazing. Her vision for what she wants to do career-wise is so beautiful, and she's so brilliant, and so I'm sure she will absolutely do it.
One of the things I love is just her faith, and her understanding of Scripture, and just how she defends her faith. It's just, I as a parent, I have loved seeing our children grow, and just seeing how God is using them and molding them, and they're just a blessing.
It's a beautiful thing. And you share enough on social media that I get a little taste of it. Well, that's good. Yeah. Because we need to see that example. No, it's encouraging. Yeah. It is very encouraging to see that. So it's just a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. So I love you, sister.
I love you too. Thank you for having me.
And if you need anything else, you come back on, okay? And we'll talk about the run. And, I'm sitting here looking at my calendar thinking, okay, am I free that day? Am I free that day? But anyway, I don't know. I got to look at my calendar, but I'll see. I love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
We'll have you again, and I'm going to let you make your way out and let Lee Marie make her way in. And we're going to talk about some of the calendar events. Thank you, Dr. Stephanie Evans. And we're going to talk for a moment about my friends, Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. Everything that you need to know in the in the real estate community, they have it for you. They have it taken care of for you, where if you're looking to buy or sell, or even if you want to be a realtor, well, they got you covered, guys. They've got a lot of folks that do part-time real estate. It's something that, they want to do, and maybe they want to build it for something later on. Maybe they're thinking about a career transition and they want to test the waters and do real estate for a little while and see if this is something they want to do full time. They highly recommend that. Barry says, you come and talk to him about being a realtor, and he goes, I may talk you out of it, because I'm going to be super honest with you about all the things that happen and what to expect. But whether it's being a realtor, whether it's selling property, buying property, Barry will tell you the best time to buy, to sell, it's right now, because whatever your needs are, it's when your needs are there, your needs are there. Don't put it off. Rebecca's one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. She says one of the biggest things that they see are people that are thinking, well, down the line, when I get a little bit older, I may want to downsize. And then they wait until it's such a burden for them to handle that it's just far too difficult for them. It says, if this is something you think is in your future, look into it before you wait until that time when you have to do it. He says, start having those questions, and you may need to just sit down and talk to Barry and Rebecca and say, well, what about this? And what about that? And put those questions out, because I guarantee you they've dealt with them. One thing that we talked about last time they were in, and I forget to mention this, if you hear of somebody, financial times are difficult. If you hear of somebody, if you have a friend or yourself that's dealing with foreclosure, maybe you've gotten behind on some payments or something like that, the options that you have, if you go ahead and sell your property before it gets into foreclosure, is a game changer. And people don't even think about that. You can be behind a few payments, but you can still sell your property and get out from under something and maybe use some of the equity to recover yourself financially to where you can still be able to buy another home, maybe downsize a little bit. Do not let that become a burden to you. Reach out to Barry, Rebecca, and find out what they can do to point you in the right direction. But don't wait until the last minute on that either. Reach out to them at 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425, or 7424, or go to sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy BUY, robertsoncounty.com, and always let them know U-Turn sent you. Lee Marie is in the house.
Good morning, ma'am.
It's always good to just visit with you once a week, just to kind of get a scoop on some of the things going on around town. So when I have a minute, I always like to say, hey, Lee Marie, you got 10, 15 minutes? You want to come in? Have you seen the fair books?
Oh, I'm so ready. I'm so excited.
I'm still I'm loving this little picture of little Thomas in here.
know,
Do you know the shamans?
No, I don't. Oh, yeah. Sorry. No.
Well, and it's actually, he's a jagger. But Amanda, they've been my neighbor forever. I love to tell the story about Amanda. When she moved down here to go to school in Tennessee, and so her New York parents followed her because that's their only child. And her mother is one of the best horse people I've ever seen. Just her horses are so spoiled and so well taken care of. She's a master. And I just love her so much. I'll never get to spend time with them because we're all so busy, but they're on the road. I see them in a wave. But when they first moved down here, Amanda's always been an avid runner. And one of the first times I saw her running, she was running in dark clothes. And I pulled over and I said, sweetheart, you need to put on something so we can see you. And she's mentioned that to me several times. That was our first meeting because I do that to people all the time.
Good.
I remind them, I'm like, you got to wear something we can see you. Even if you're out here in the country where there's no traffic, our road is super busy, especially since we've got a big plant being constructed down at the end of the road. Please be careful out there if you're walking on Lawrence Lane. Anyway, hi.
Hello.
What you doing?
Well, yeah, I was listening to the interview, which was great. I'm so glad you had Dr. Stephanie Evans. Now, just so you know, the 12th is also Experience Robertson County. It's several things. It's also the state TFA.
There's a big,
there's a lot.
Well, my friend Rachel Culver's coming in on Friday, and she has this big Women's Day, and I think it's on the 12th as well. And
Jerusalem Ridge.
Yes, there's
TFA.
A very big thing that that Rachel's working on, and I think it's on the 12th. I'm not sure.
I know it's a popular day.
So it is a busy day.
But I do want to mention also it's September 11th, Day of Remembrance, which is the day before that. Robertson County Sheriff's Department will be doing their annual ceremony right out there. So I just want to remind people on that.
Where are you, Adam Pope? We always love for you to come on and do. I need to reach out to Adam and see if he's available to come in. We're doing something at school, and y'all pray over this, and I hope it goes really, really well. Last year, we did a thing where the teachers did, talked about what they remembered, and it was really powerful. This year, I have gotten a timeline, and just bullet point timeline, real short and simple, nothing big or elaborate, and I'm having the kids that want to read one line of the timeline.
Okay.
And behind them, like one of them is like such and such time, this flight took off. And I said, and I want an image behind them of just the manifest, just that quick. And it's really, the entirety of it probably won't be more than a couple of minutes. But I think it's going to be powerful because every different timeline is going to be a different kid in front of a green screen. And so we started working on that Friday, and we're really going to be getting into it some more today. I think it's really going to be powerful. So be praying that comes together and that can have some meaning, because this is the 25th anniversary, y'all. This is the 25th anniversary. Can you believe that?
Oh.
I can't believe that. 25 years since that happened. Blows my mind. Anyway. We'll talk more about that as we approach. What have you got for me today,
so a lot
sister?
of things new are happening now. I don't know if you got to read the full article that Stay Positive News did on Well in the Square.
But I didn't know it was out yet.
Yes.
When did it come out?
Yeah,
okay, I'm
so like a week ago. So
I miss it.
So y'all, if you don't have, if you're listening on the radio and you don't have Facebook, you can go to Stay Positive News.
I'm gonna go share it right now.
Just the website, you can do that. But I did share the Facebook link on Well in the Square, is also on Lee Marie.
I'm going to get it right.
So they did a wonderful job. It's just,
I don't have any doubt. I know.
it's a long article, but it's really good. And I didn't know, because they were interviewing me while I was driving. Yes, ma'am.
See, I guess I didn't realize that was the story. I saw that and it just didn't click with me that was the story.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but anyways, yeah, they were interviewing me while I was driving, and I thought, oh, I hope I, gave the right amount of information, whatever. And like when Stephen was reading it, he said, this really is the heart of Well in the Square. They really captured that.
Excellent.
So great job, Kirsten, on your interview, because everybody that's involved with it said that they really got it.
Did they talk about you some?
I'm sorry?
Did they talk about you and all your stuff? And
just a little. I didn't really want to talk about that.
Oh, so you're just too humble. You're just too humble, sis. I'm just telling you. Yeah, but anyway.
There's just so much. Thank you. That's what I need. Thanks.
Yeah. I've got to restock our hall stash in here, especially with fall allergies and all the wonderful tobacco barn smoke. We love it, but it does kind of make us, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So anyways, if you didn't read it, go ahead and read that article.
Yes, I'm
because
glad you mentioned it. I just shared it.
Okay. And then, Ball State starts today. So that means a lot of schedules are changing for people all over. And so that will affect it's going to affect Stephen's stretching class, which is actually flexibility, agility. It's not just stretching. His class is now going to be on Wednesdays from 11 to 11:30. And he has been just doing so many amazing things. And it's just so important. I keep hearing about people tripping and falling and different things. It's like, you need to prevent all that. You need to make sure your muscles are all awake and that they know that they still need to work. And so that's what Stephen does. He makes sure our muscles are awake and gives us great exercises to improve our balance and agility and body efficiency so that we can even burn fat while we sleep. That's what I like. But anyways, so that's going to be Wednesdays starting tomorrow. Okay. Now our line dance classes are going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays are still beginners at 10. I gotta look this up because we just changed everything. And you can go to the Well and Square Facebook page because we have a brand new flyer that we just pushed up last night.
With Vol State starting up too, you're going to see there's kids heading to school that have been working part-time and those kinds of things. So if you're looking for a part-time gig, now's a really good time because there's a lot of kiddos that were having summer jobs that they're in school now. And so if that's something you're like, man, I want to do something part-time, it's be a really good time to go out.
That's a good point.
Yeah, be a really good
So
time.
see this pretty flyer, this pink and blue flyer, isn't that cute?
It's lovely.
Okay, so beginning line dance is now Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10:15 to 10:45, and then intermediate Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 to 11:30. Now at night, this is brand new. So starting tonight, 5:45 to 6:15, beginning line dance. 6:15 to 6:45 intermediate line dance. So a lot of people have been asking for nighttime. So there you go. Please help spread the word because a lot of people need to be moving in some way. And this is like such an easy way to get your exercise because it's happy, fun music. You get to meet people and it's good for your mind, your body, your soul. So that's right there at Well in the Square. We are in the ballroom inside Crossroads. So if you ever arrive and the door is locked, my phone number is on the outside of the building. You can call, but just please try to get there. If you get there, on time, then you'll be able to get in with everybody else. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's line dance. Now this last Saturday, we had a watercolor class that Carla did, and I made 6 cards, and I'm not an artist, but I tell you, I got bit by a watercolor bug. Matter of fact, she's going to do another watercolor class on September 19th, a Saturday morning, because we all had so much fun.
How cool.
Mm-hmm. And we're purposely doing it before the fair entries are due. So the fair entries are due on Sunday the 20th, and there's just a small window. You have just from 2 to 4 on Sunday, September 20th to submit your entries for photography or art and a lot of the other categories as well, the flowers. So we're doing that class on the 19th so that you can also put those into the fair. And I'm going to show people, matter of fact, I'm going to also have a photography class where you can bring your 8x10 and I'm going to bring everything to mount it on what we have to mount it on so that we can also, everybody can bring up to 3 photos that they want mounted and for the fair. So we'll get everybody all ready because, my family enters stuff every year and we don't do it to win. We do it just because it's a positive, fun thing. Yeah. And you want to share, beauty that's in Robertson County and it's fun. And, it's even a bonus if you walk through it. Oh my gosh, I got a ribbon. So I really want to encourage people, especially because, this is the first time that Tuesday is absolutely free at the fair.
I love that they've got a free day.
And that's my favorite thing to do is to go in.
I just love it. I love that they have a free day and I mean, we're just been banging the drum hard. Don't you dare go up to that fair on Tuesday and go, why aren't the rides running? It's because you got in free. That's why.
That's right.
Because and they're getting it set up. And we have been just trying. I mean, Trent, bless his heart, he goes, I know we're going to have them, LaVern, though, that are going to come up and they're going to be mad. Please don't. They work so hard. Everybody that works with the fair is a volunteer. And my goodness, they have got, it's just jam-packed. It is just jam-packed full of stuff.
So that Tuesday is free for everyone. And I love going in. And you know what? Last year, we had some friends meet us there. And before they were leaving, I said, oh, did you see, in the exhibit hall? And they're like, what? Exhibit hall? They didn't even know that the whole red building had in all of those things. And so I go, well, you got to go through there. They went through there before they left. They said, well, I'm glad you told us about that. We had no idea. So make sure you get the word out, guys, that all your friends and neighbors have stuff in there. And that's my favorite part of the fair, is going through and looking at all that stuff.
It is fun.
That's how I met the Master Gardener people years ago.
Really?
Yeah, they had a table up and I was actually volunteering. I was volunteering in the art room to watch, because they always need volunteers to help out there in the hall. And I was just volunteering there, but in between, when it was slow, I'd go around and talk to the people at the other booths. Well, that's where I met the Master Gardeners, and then we started taking classes, and now we have all these other Master Gardener friends. So, get out to the fair. It's a great way to get connected with your community. Also, Rhonda Rastelli, I know I don't have a lot of time. She is our psychiatric nurse practitioner. Yeah. Okay, she is going to be doing she just started this past Monday, and that is a support group for parents with estranged relationships with adult children that meets in person at the well, but also it's a Zoom study. So if you're in another state or whatever, you can Zoom in. So that is 7:00 on Monday nights. Actually, I think it's like 7:05 or 7:10, but you can check it out on the website. And then also, back by popular demand, she is going to do her anxiety class again. That was very well attended when she did it. Really? And when Stay Positive News, and this is one awesome thing about that Stay Positive News article, when she was interviewing me, I remembered that, because she said, do you have any stories, personal interest stories that happened because one of the classes? I go, well, you know what? That's right. We had this anxiety class, and there was 2 ladies in there that both said, I feel like I don't have a purpose in life.
Wow.
And after that class, of course, I made a beeline to them, and I'm like, okay, first off, you have a purpose. You're breathing and you have a purpose. Second of all, let me tell you, you have a great opportunities for more purpose. And we got them both plugged into different things, and they're both now involved with so much. They got all these friends.
I love it.
And so that's why I said, Rhonda, I totally forgot about that class until Stay Positive News was interviewing me. You got to do another one. She said, okay. So she's going to do that the first Tuesday night of October. So October 6th, 7 p.m. It's going to be called Anxiety, What Is It, and How to Manage It. Okay. So I think everybody knows somebody, if it's not you, it's somebody close to you that has anxiety. And so this is just really a great way. I know she got a lot of great reviews the last time she did that. So super excited that Rhonda Rastelli is going to be doing that. Shannon Baumgartner is also going to be doing a free class, and that anxiety class, by the way, is absolutely free. Shannon's going to be doing a free class on the morning of September 19th. That's a Saturday from 10 to 11. And, how many of us are just like we're in a rut? We're either eating stuff that we shouldn't be eating, or collecting stuff, or buying stuff we shouldn't buy. Why do we do this, and how do we manage that? How do we unwind out of that? A lot of that we don't even realize. Some of it is in self-bitterness or self-sabotage, and we don't even know that we're doing it. So she's going to be doing a real helpful class there, just very general, and just, she's been praying with people and getting people healed left and right on this type of, thinking. And so we're really excited. I'm really excited to have her come on Saturday, the 19th. So obviously we have a lot going on at the well. We're posting more stuff this week because we're kind of like at the change right now. We want to get the new catalog ready to put in people's hands at the Friday night market, which is coming up very fast. That is Labor Day weekend. It is Friday, September 4th. But one thing we're going to do, and this last thing I could talk about, we're going to do the sing along again.
Oh, fun.
Okay, so the sing-along this time is going to be 5:30 to 6:30 because the Friday night band doesn't start until 6:30. So inside Well in the Square, we now have a piano right when you walk in on the left. And we did that last first Friday with Daniel Sparkman on piano, who is amazing.
I saw video of it. I couldn't be there, but it looked fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like
So we're going to do that again for the remaining first Fridays, which are September and October. And I'm going to check the calendar because maybe we'll do it just year round first Fridays, sing along, gospel sing along. So super fun.
Yeah.
And then again, I do have to put a plug in for the Gospel Bluegrass Day, which is my favorite day of the Jerusalem Ridge Bluegrass Festival. That is going to be on September 13th. So that is a Sunday. And we love going to Jerusalem Ridge. But our favorite day is the Gospel Bluegrass Day. Yeah. They have a church service to start it, which is always very good. Yeah. And then they have all the bands are playing gospel music. And so I just highly recommend that. It's over in Rosine, Kentucky, where Bill Monroe was born.
Yeah, it's just a cool event. Cool event. We promote it all the time at the Kilgore Festival, and always give away tickets to it and all those things. But and also now Labor Day weekend, don't want to forget the Fuquay Head benefit pool, tractor pool. I tell everybody, if you're new to Robertson County and you want to understand kind of what we're about, go to tractor pool. I grew up with them, and it's just a lot of fun, and it is a great benefit to help with cancer research. And, a lot of the proceeds go to benefit St. Jude. They also benefit Martha's Song. And, again, that's a really good event that I want to push too. I just want to keep that out in front of everybody. So many good things. Lynn Marie, thank you for popping in.
Oh, you're welcome. I forgot to mention this real quick. I think you can still join tonight because you can only miss one day and still get a certificate. But Pat Samler is doing a practical homeopathy class at the Well. It's also in Zoom as well. And that is Tuesday night. So it's the next 4 Tuesday nights, but you can't miss any of them now because it started last week. And so that is at 7 p.m. And we are learning so much. Matter of fact, my friend the other day who knows a lot about, natural medicine, she had a cold for several weeks, couldn't kick it. Yeah. And I said, I didn't know you still had that. I said, did you get cold care? She goes, what? I said, it's a homeopathy medicine, but it is at Walmart. She said, no, I didn't know about it. I ran and got her some. I took her some. Well, guess what? That morning, because she always wakes up about 3 a.m. That morning, she said she woke up. It was the first time she wasn't stuffy in like 2 weeks.
Okay, and it's called Cold Care?
Cold Care.
Okay, yeah. I need to go get it because I'm around my students, and it just seems like every day I'll have like a little just tingle of like I'm getting one of their little viruses, and I beat it back because I'm old and I've got a pretty good immune system. But we're around.
It's really good if you take it right away. And there's also one for flu, and there's also one for allergies. I'll send you the titles because you can get those. You can get those at Walmart.
Because I don't have time to be sick.
And it's not by, it's funny because it's not with the regular, like all the other cold stuff is right here. And this stuff was on the bottom left at the end. It was kind of funny because I had to ask at the pharmacy booth where it was. And you know what they did? They said, go over there. We're gonna flash it. I'm like, what? And I go over there, and all of a sudden a little light flashed right on the shelf where it was. And I went to found it because I was looking over here. I know. So anyways, those are some good tips for you.
Very cool. I love it. So many fun things going on. Thank y'all for joining us. Tomorrow is a Veteran Service Office Day. So definitely join us, and it will be a fun day just to talk about all the services that are available for our veterans here in Robertson County, and I hope you'll be a part of it. Thank you for joining us. Oh, and we'll have a full hour of local programming with The Ghost Show with Sweet Lee Marie at 8 o'clock as well. So I hope you'll be a part of it. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless y'all. Have a fabulous day.